Any moment now, it'll show on my side.
Okay.
There we go. All right, folks, we are live. We're back. Today it is Mike down in Aruba with me, and I'm up here in New Hampshire. We could not have a different set of weather comparisons here. But we're not going to get into weather. We're just going to get into trading. So you're about to say something about gold. And so I'm going to pull up. Let me just,
Perfect.
I've got my trading view up. So let me just pull up the gold chart and let's take a look at this. And gold has definitely been on a little bit of a tear since it looks like 5 a.m. it started.
Yeah. So if you go back to Monday the 23rd at like 3 p.m., you'll see the last supply zone at this level.
At, you said 3 p.m.?
Yeah, 3 p.m. on Monday the 23rd.
Right here. So this particular candle you're talking about right here.
Yeah, right up there. Go up there. You see that? Actually, yes, that long one right there, because
Yep,
that's a long supply zone, but that's structure for what we're currently dealing with.
really. And
Yep.
because I hadn't charted this part, so let me just pop that puppy in. So this is supply, you said?
Yes.
And let me change this. So supply zone. And so we're in the zone right now.
Yep. And it was at the top when we first got on the phone. It was just outside the back wall. It was a perfect time to get in.
Ah, that's a huge zone.
It's a massive zone.
We are at so 216 to wow, $20 zone.
Yep.
Wow. So interesting. And then let's look for our demand zone way down here.
Yep.
That is the most recent. That's a normal size zone, I
And
guess you could say.
right above it, we had a former demand zone that's been flipped to a supply zone, and then got reflipped to a demand zone.
Right above here.
Up a little bit to the left. Yep. See that little red right there? That was a demand zone. That got flipped to a supply zone,
Yeah.
and then it got flipped back to a demand zone. So it's been flipped twice. One more.
And and I'm looking. We did have a cross yesterday,
Yep.
um, and so which should have signaled going up anyways at that point. But it was pretty consolidated
Mm-hmm.
throughout all of yesterday, and then today it jumped. And so we were talking about the jump yesterday, and I don't know if this was no, that's not the one. Yeah, 10 a.m. yesterday. This is the one we
Yep.
were talking about when we were on, and now we just had an even larger
Yep.
jump today. So, was there specific news that triggered this?
I didn't even check. I just fired that up first, and I typically fire up the chart first, put in my rough chart. I mean, put in my rough information,
Yeah,
like my basic supply zone, demand zones, and highs and lows,
yeah.
and then I go straight to the news before I do anything else. Okay, so Amazon, Nvidia, and SoftBank pour 110 billion into OpenAI, raising the stakes for AI monetization. That's good. Government to give up. That's not U.S. U.S. stocks sink after PPI inflation surprise. So let's look at that. Forex Factory.
Hey, you can share your screen if that, are you able to share your screen there?
Actually, I
Or
can
I can pull it
try.
up.
Yeah. Why don't you actually do it? Just because I'm afraid I'm gonna get like blotchy. 'Cause-
Not a problem. Let me just pull up Forex here. And So let's take a look at this. So Friday all day, we got 8:30. So we got, core PPI and PPI. So definitely an increase on core. We forecasted 0.3%, went up 0.8%. And then the month over month also went up more than anticipated. So when we look at those, let's look at core PPI first. What usually happens when that occurs? So inflation is one of those things. What's a great hedge for inflation? Gold, right? So that makes sense that after those, gold would have gone up. And so let's see. Changes in price, finished goods.
Yeah, so here's what I'm reading. U.S. stocks sank on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was looking at the FinViz link on Yahoo Finance. U.S. stocks sank on Friday after a measure of wholesale inflation came in hotter than expected, and Block's surprise shakeup turned the spotlight on AI disruption risks. The Dow Jones led the way down with the loss of 1.6%, or nearly 800 points.
And which you said, it sounded like Block's surprised shakeup. Is that what you said?
Yeah, XYZ company. Yeah.
Okay.
That's yeah, I think their ticker's Block Inc. Their ticker's XYZ. And I think that ties into what I was talking about, where Amazon, Nvidia, and SoftBank, when they poured 110 into OpenAI as well.
Yep. So, and that's interesting. This AI war is going to be pretty wild.
It's gonna be interesting. Like I have full faith that, I mean, considering that, oh my gosh, what's the one out of Canada right now? I'm running over. I mean, out of China.
DeepSeek.
DeepSeek. Yeah. Yep. So considering that they just said that they found that the last version of that was just built on stolen and compromised or smuggled NVIDIA chips.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing that's going to be interesting to me. Is actually I want to see who wins the chip battle, because it's all basically, you have two things going on right now, and I think everyone knows this, but you have the big chip battles to who's the real one. Now, personally, NVIDIA seems to me like their numbers are almost inflated. We'll see. NVIDIA scares me if I was to be putting money on them right now. I just don't. It doesn't pass my sniff test, even though it looks phenomenal. But so did Bernie Madoff's company back in the day. I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things behind NVIDIA.
Yeah,
I mean, it's producing something, we can tell. But here's a thing that I've been watching in the chip market, and this all goes to trading, folks. And by the way, we're not making any recommendations. We're just sharing the stuff that we're learning. But all of these conversations too, everything here that we're talking about ties in with what's happening. Why is gold going up? Why is gold going down? Why does this market go over that market? So, but going into the chips and AI in general, right? So one of the things that is going to be a bottleneck is power, right? At least for the U.S., we have a huge grid deficiency when it comes to, if you want to keep increasing AI and all these data centers, we don't have enough power to power those.
Right, as it's built today, correct.
Correct. And so you can have massive, all of these chip fabs that are being built here in the US, they're going to be able to produce a ton of chips, which is awesome. But we're going to get to a point, and this is actually predicted by Elon Musk. We're going to get to a point where we have more chips that we can actually put into operation because of no power to power them, which is pretty wild. Now, did I lose you, Mike?
No, I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just can't see you. Your screen went blank, and that was that. So as long as you're there, but that's where I think we're going to see a huge win. I don't know. I don't know if he was really this strategic, and I'm talking about Elon Musk. If he was really this strategic years ago, if he just saw it, or if it's just recent and he just took immediate action, right? But he's the one that's in position to not have to worry about power.
Right.
He's, with not just the Starlink satellites that are already up there that can handle the bandwidth to work with this AI compute, but now he's already got the rockets to send them up, but he's creating basically data centers that are going to be powered by solar up in the above the atmosphere, right? And so he's going to have unlimited power. He's going to be able to put as many of these up there as he wants for the most part, and he'll have all the AI compute without any restrictions on power.
Right, and let's think about this, like within the 10-year gap. Let's think about, we've kind of talked about this before, but everyone, I believe, most people know this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the power in our phone right now is more powerful than the computers that took up rooms to put man on the moon.
Yeah.
Okay, so quantum computing is here.
Mm-hmm.
It is not publicly available to everyone, but it is here. It's a multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar industry. It is going to change a lot of things for the better, and some things potentially immediately for the worse until people figure out how to resolve it. But it's for the better overall. It's a massive leap in technology.
Yeah.
Right now, those are massive units. Okay, they just don't have small condensed units yet.
Yep.
Those are going to get condensed very quickly.
They will. I mean, you look at what did it cost us? I remember the first computer I bought was thousands of dollars,
Mm-hmm.
right, for our house, and it was nothing. I mean, compared to what we have today, and I mean, there's no way to replicate its power with something today. I mean, I could probably do it with a Pi computer. I have no idea at this point, but there's so little power in that compared to what we have today. And you can go to Staples or wherever and get a computer for, $300.
A Raspberry Pi is probably about 100 times better than your computer that you got initially. If not exponentially higher. My first laptop that I got, I remember my roommate in college, my freshman year, and it's at 95 because I did a prep year. So 95, my roommate had a IBM ThinkPad. I'd seen them before, but he was the first kid I saw have one that wasn't an adult working.
Yeah.
And at the time I had an Apple Power PC with like a mouse, monitor, dot matrix printer. Actually, no, that was my first real printer. We spent like $400 on my first real laser printer, so I could do documents at school faster, and I could potentially sell it to other kids if they needed to print stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was my intent. When I bought my first laptop, I remember arguing with my mother because she was like, "I want to get it for you." I'm like, "Mom, by default, it comes with 32 megs of RAM." I'm like, if I don't get 64 megs, that's the max this thing can handle. Was a Dell Inspiron 3500. I'm like, if we don't get 64 megs of RAM, I'm like, I'm just going to run into issue after issue. And she was like, okay. And so my first laptop was a Dell Inspiron 3500 with a Intel Celeron Series 1. Pentium Series 1 and 32 megs of RAM. And I mean, 64 megs of RAM. Yeah. And I was absolutely pumped that I had that much RAM because I didn't know any of my friends that had RAM like that.
That is so wild going back to me. So much has changed, right? Because we're not talking megs, we're talking gigs. We have to, and there's going to be something after that. But I can remember when I launched my first company. I was 18 years old. I launched an advertising firm, and I had a business partner. I had a separate room in my apartment, mm-hmm. and that was our office. Okay, and we had our own publication. We did some different stuff, but we had one computer for the two of us. It was his computer. So he brought it in, right? And I can remember him coming in one day and says, "Don, look at this. I've got this hard drive here. We're never going to fill this. It's brand new," right? And he was so ecstatic because it was 125 meg
Yep.
hard drive. And it
Yep.
was like, and that was huge back then.
Yep. So
And
yeah, I remember that vividly. When I first took apart, not my first Power PC, but an old, I think it was my old Apple IIc, but it was a portable version. So the whole processing, the whole computer, the processing unit, everything was inside, and the keyboard was built in, and it had a handle, so you could carry it like a handle.
okay.
And then you had to physically connect like a PS2 mouse. Actually, no, it was still a COM port mouse, and a VGA cable. So for a monitor, which was still a big CRT. And I took that thing apart, and I think it had is either an 8 meg or a 4. I think it was an 8 meg, because it was like we got like the upgraded version. But I was like an 8 meg drive. I'm like, how did I even function? I'm like, because all you did is word processing. That's
Right.
how.
Right. And now it's like those things wouldn't do anything.
Well, I mean, just to give a perfect example, my computer that I primarily use right now has 32 gigs of RAM. I don't operate without 64 gigs of RAM on any computer I'm working, because I do multiple tabs. So
Yeah.
I have, like, this also didn't exist back then, the multiple tabs. You had Netscape open, because Internet Explorer didn't even exist initially. It was just coming out.
Yep.
But yeah, so needless to say, like, I just was laughing about it. I'm saying I was pumped to have 64 megs. Now I'm frustrated because I don't have 64 gigs. I'm like, so I got to go buy it, doing a RAM upgrade on my laptop.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'll be curious to see what this does. Obviously, it's going to dramatically impact the stock market. It's going to be a battle for who's the dominant one or two players on the quantum AI, and who right now NVIDIA has a nice little strong place. But I'll say this, like, in terms of chips, there was always Intel and AMD.
Yep.
And people had their favorites, and I would only get certain types once
I
I
was,
got it to it.
I was an AMD guy. I own AMD stock,
Okay.
and I always like the underdog.
Yep.
So
I loved AMD for certain tasks. When I was in a business and I needed something that I could count on to be like my 3 to 5 year reliable system I could put in, and I knew it was going to give me X performance in a business class environment. For an SMB, I'd do only like an Intel i5. And if anyone was beyond a basic user, we just did an i7. And someone's like, do I need it? I'm like, let me ask you a question. It's better to have it when you need it than not have it when you need it.
that's right.
I was like, it's literally that simple. And the difference is about $200-300. So if I said to you, at some point over the next 3 years, there's a high probability it's going to be 5 to 10 times where you're probably going to need it and not have it. What does that cost you per hour? Is it more or less than the cost of the chip upgrade? And that's just how we did it. But that's how I used to always look at it. I mean, I loved AMD when I was building out, like, I used to build out a bunch of custom systems.
Mm-hmm.
And if I did anything, I built out my first, before TiVo was around, I did a project in college about how, and I built out a full DVR system that would
Nice.
record live TV. And I actually didn't even, then like a year later, TiVo came out, and I'm like, okay, so you should have gotten, you should have started looking to see who was already doing this and then connected with them back then. But whatever. Bottom line is, I use only AMD chips for that because it just functioned better and performed faster, and I could personally overclock it to the point where I wanted to.
Yep.
So I had more customization. But I mean, the whole point that I think we're getting at here is, was it Kurzweil said back in the 80s that we've reached a point now where linear progression no longer exists. Everything from a technology perspective is exponentially enhancing every year, at least, if not sooner. So what does that mean for us? That means, like, in terms of the market, in terms of how fast we're able to do trade, even what we're doing right now and everything we're doing online, it's ridiculous, like how fast we're able to do it. I'm in Aruba, you're in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And we're both plugged into the same system. And yeah, I have an occasional blip. Well, I'm on an island, like in the middle of the Caribbean. So yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah. Well, and that could be why, your camera's down. It's like, or it's blocked or whatever, but it's like, because I just see black there. But I mean, yeah, we're having this conversation. We're also streaming. Hey, here you go. You're coming back. Actually, your background is coming back. I don't see you yet.
Okay, so you know what that means? That means that when it came back after it blipped,
yeah,
it didn't grab the right camera. So give me the other camera's permanently blocked.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Well, as you're figuring that part out, No, you're right about technology, because I mean, not only are we both in different parts of the world, separated by 1,000,
Yeah.
1,500 miles, I don't know, 2,000 miles, I don't know what the actual distance is, but it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And we're in this talking real time, and we're streaming.
Hmm.
So you think about that, and it's like, okay, how does all of this stuff impact where we're going? Right? Most of our trades today, when we do trades, we're doing trades that are very short term,
Hmm.
right? But here's the question for you, and this is for everybody in general out there. You can learn forex where you can make a lot of great money. You can certainly lose it too, right? So you gotta really get good at this. But as you start to make some really good money, what do you do with it? you know you want to have an account in forex that is large enough where you can take more drawdowns. If what, let's say gold is going to take off, but there's a sizable drawdown, you want to be able to buy, um, basically get larger lot sizes and
Yep.
not worry about that drawdown. So you want to have a certain amount in that account, but at some point you've got enough in that account where you can do the trades you want to do and make them incredibly wildly profitable, potentially. All right, if you're making the right trades. But now you've got excess funds there. What are you doing with those excess funds? Well, where would you invest those funds? Right. So we've got tools. We've got our Alpha X. We've got Omni, that will invest those for us. So they're doing trades while we're doing trades. But those are also forex type. And so, one of the things you and I have talked about in the past, Mike, is the setting up a self-directed
Hmm.
uh,
IRA.
IRA,
Yep.
and so I'm in the process of doing that, by the way.
Awesome.
Just so you know, so I'll be the guinea pig, and I'm gonna not so much document it here, but what I am gonna do is I'm gonna document the process.
Yep.
And so for those of you who say, hey, you know what, I love what you guys are doing with the Quest, and I'm not really looking to learn how to do forex, but I'm looking to be able to learn how to learn. Looking to benefit from what you guys are doing, and the access I can get by working with you, right? And again, we're not financial advisors, so all we do is we can get you connected with the tools that we have. All right, that's all we can do. Um, but let's say it's the Alpha X, right? And somebody says they want to invest in this. I was writing down one of the Alpha Gold strategy. Was it last year? Did over 1,300%, at a 1,300% return.
Yeah, I don't have it up in front of me, but yeah, it was big.
It was huge. The crypto algorithm that we use had over 600%, and that's over multiple years,
Yeah.
which is wild. So when you think about those things, and you think about, okay, well, I've got money in the bank right now and it's earning less than 1%, or it's earning 3%, or whatever it's earning, right? Well, there are lots of other things that you could do. And then, but also looking at stocks, right? That's one of the cool things that when you think about, all right, where do I want to store value? Right? I've got this money. I don't want to leave it in the bank. Yes, I can invest over here. But what if I want to do some diversification? Well, this is investing in trades, right, on Forex. So Alpha Gold or Omni or all the others that we have access to, all the algorithms that we have access to. And by the way, anybody who is part of the Quest gets access to all of those. Okay, so you can choose what you want. But if you said, hey, I don't want to do the trading part because I don't want to learn it myself. I just don't have the time. I don't have the interest. No problem. You can use those tools to do pretty darn well, because they are doing very well. And those are documented. Those numbers that I mentioned, that's not things coming from us. You can actually look at the research on those. So
yeah, publicly available information.
Right. Exactly. So that's not us making a claim.
Right. I mean, I don't have right now as I think I've mentioned to you guys before, but what I want to do is I want to get this account up to $1,000 for step one.
Yeah.
Okay. Then once we get to $1,000, our next job is to get it to 4,000. So what I'm doing is the minute I get to 2,000, I'm taking 1,000 out of it and I'm putting it right back into, I'm putting in alpha algo X.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do that because I think I'm going to be able to recreate that second 1,000. I'm going to be able to get that 1 to 4 faster once I can get consistently, because I'm making major progress right now and I'm just playing with smaller numbers, and then fire that up to 10. So I want to get that to 1,000. That's my step one benchmark, and then get that to 10,000. And I want to do more, but I want to see what 10,000 does. And I'm pretty positive I know what it's going to do. But the bigger part out of all of this is it's not just, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, and this is why the rich stay rich and why a lot of the poor and the middle stay middle, and some, whether you're upper middle, lower middle, up, whatever. Tax strategy. The goal is not to make the money. The goal is to maintain the money. Okay.
Right.
Making the money is only a small step part of the process. Okay. So if you can take the right tax strategies and you can learn how to do it properly and legally, where you can knock your percentage, because now you're accumulating assets.
Yeah.
When you start accumulating assets, that's when your taxes go from 30% to 20% to 10% down to the 0.1, 0.2, 0.5. Depends on the amount of range. There's a lot of other things involved there, so that's why I gave a broad range. But go back and check to see what Warren Buffett's, I think he was 0.1.
Yeah.
Was his percentage. They were joking around because Elon Musk was at, like, I think 3.7, and I was like, oh my God, what's Elon doing? Paying 3.7%. But needless to say, that's where this comes in too, because it's, as we learn more and you have the ability to make more, you're also, the doors get open. And this is some of the stuff that we're working on when you were talking about the self-directed IRA as well.
Yep.
How can we strategically make money here so we're getting more money, but we're setting it up so we keep it, so we can start, whether that be like irrevocable trust or whatever that may be. And we're not going to get into all that right now, but it's number one, let's learn how to do this. Let's learn how to create generational income. And then let's learn how to make it stay generational and not just have a good amount of money coming in that then we take and then we lose and then we have to pay 30, 40% in taxes. That's a bad plan. And,
yeah, it is.
And when you're in this group, and but what I'm getting at is when you're in this group and you're in this community, you have access to people who are doing 2, 3, 4 levels up from where you are, or on the same level you are, and can guide you and show you how they did it. You're getting access to information people pay 6, 7 figures for. And a lot of times, not just pay it up front, but they lose it by paying the government or whoever else first. And it's not a bad thing to pay the government, but if there's a way you can keep your hard-earned money, why would you not?
That's right. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to. And when we look at, and that's why I'm creating that self-directed IRA, and it's with after-tax money, right? So the money that I'm putting in, basically, it's Roth. I don't have to. So those gains, I'm not going to have to pay taxes on. And I just want to let it run, right?
Yep.
And build that up, by the way. So starting at the Algo Alpha X, like we talked about, same thing. That's what I'm doing. But then moving it to the crypto and moving it to Alpha Gold, right? Gold Alpha. When we get there, and it's just those algorithms, let the algorithms do their thing. That will generate the funds. I'm looking at, all right, how much money do I need? I know what my monthly nut is, let's say, right? How much I need to make per month. And wouldn't it be great to have just your investments throwing off a lot more money than what you need for your month? That's financial freedom right there. And it sounds like, oh, that's so simple, but nobody ever does it, right? Now there's people that do it, of course, but it really is that simple. It's like, okay, we got to start somewhere. We build this up, and so we're gonna document this. We're gonna show you how we do all of this stuff. The self-directed piece, we're not going to tell you all of that. I'll be documenting how I do it on paper or on computer. And maybe I'll do an ebook or something, but it won't be. It isn't rocket science. It's having access to knowledge and having the guts to act on that knowledge.
Yep.
That's really what it comes down to.
And us having, obviously, having CPAs and having tax professionals separate, having both, but having those people who live in that world. And it's not just, again, too, it's not just, I'm going to go down the street and talk to this tax guy because he's worked my taxes before too. That guy may know, but there are people out there who specialize in this.
Oh yeah.
And those are the people that we need to speak to and we got to get more access to. And that's the people that most people have no idea how to even get a hold of them. Well, we're already seeking that out. We're already getting that information right now.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the value from this, like Kurzweil was talking about technology, it went from a concept where it was linear benefit to everybody, and we are clearly in the exponential category for what people are able to get. And as we've said before too, just to remind everyone, we're focused on Forex right now. There is a full suite of options. There's a full suite of futures. There's even crypto. There's so much stuff. It is even more coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include stuff that we've talked about on the commercial real estate side and stuff too, which we're not going right now. But what I'm getting at is as this thing goes along, your access to private wealth management and wealth building solutions, not that Don and I are running at all, we'll just share stuff that we're doing. And it's stuff that I would have killed to have access to 25 years ago.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. I wouldn't have known where to go.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have trusted half the people that I would have had to ask.
Yep.
If not 3/4.
But the good thing, so in here, because I was just, and to what you just said, I got to speak to this point, right? So I've got a really close friend of mine who I care a lot about. He and his wife and his kids, great family, and they were trying to get me to invest in a crypto play, and I was like, no, I'll watch it for a while because I've been burned before. I've looked, we all learn, right? We learn at different times. And he was positive of this. And this is a pretty popular one. It's out there. A lot of people know about it. And he just found out that it was a scam, lost thousands. Right. Luckily, he didn't lose millions, but he lost money that really he didn't. He had it to lose. He put it in, but it hurts.
Yeah.
Right. And here, what we're doing and what we're sharing and what we're documenting, I'm looking at the gold chart because we hit the back wall, by the way, and it's coming back down. But what we're doing here, we're doing it first, and we're just documenting that journey. So you don't have to follow us. You don't have to join us in the quest, but we want you to see that it's real. All right. And if, something happens, you're going to know. Like the other day when we had that trade that didn't go as planned.
Right.
It's like, all right, so we lost a little, no big deal.
Yep.
Right. But it happened to both of us. We both took the same trade.
Yep.
We both get in pretty close to the same point.
Yep.
And, and we lost. But that is going to happen. And we need to show those. We need to show the wins, right, as well. And I've shown you some, I posted, like Mike, the first week where you were gone, I posted multiple wins that I had. And, I want to get back into doing some live trades here on the live stream.
Yep.
But I'm probably not going to do that today because we're just about finished for the day. But but next week, let's get back into. I'm gonna make a set aside some time to chart prior to. Yeah. And let's start to do some live trades here so everybody can watch. And my thought is we want to do those 15-minute trades so we can get 1 or 2 in each during the course of the podcast. Even if we get 1 in, great. Now it's like, because I learn whether I win, whether I'm profiting or whether I'm losing. I want to analyze this.
Yeah, I saw a great video. I believe it was Giannis from the NBA A guy asked him if it was a losing season. And he said, if you don't get a promotion every year, he's like, did you do a bad job? And he said to the guy, he's like, there is no losing if you're learning.
That's right.
He's like, every day we go out and we do and we act and we learn and then we get better. He's like, as long as you're actively pursuing and learning more and getting better and tweaking and you are invested and you are obsessed with what you're doing, then you're in a good spot and you're going to be fine. He's like, it's just when you say, I can't do this and I quit, and you let all the mental stuff get in your head, he's like, that's when you're done. And I also understand, like, for what your friend was going through. I mean, people don't understand this too out of the gate. But let's say if you're in a situation and you get into something that does end up being not what you expected, I mean, that's pretty demoralizing.
Yeah.
Because you lose faith in self a little bit. You have to kind of build that back up. And often, if those of them that are married, I mean, your spouses can completely turn on you. Not in like a awful way, but they just lose faith in your decision-making process and your ability to handle your future. And they now, oh, you're gullible, you fell for that, or you're this, you did. So it just creates a whole new series of issues. So that's where it's so important. It's so important just to make sure that the community you're in, I mean, that's why all our information is publicly available. It's all posted. It's great. But that's why, is we've been on, I think, both sides of the chain a little bit here, and we've made a lot of smart decisions. We made a couple bad ones because we were not afraid to, quote unquote, push the button and learn on the fly. But because of that, let us share that with you.
Yeah.
So that we can help as many as possible not experience that, but also learn these phenomenal tools that I would have done anything to have access to this information 25 years ago.
Same here. See, you can never go back in time, but you can act on today. So hey, for those of you who want, join us in the quest, be part of it. All you got to do is go to q2am.com, and love to have you as part of this. And remember, the goal of the quest is simple: take $250 and turn that into $1 million. And how quickly can you do that? Utilizing Forex. I don't know how long it's going to take us. I can tell you, I had mine higher, I've had mine lower. It's that 250 has gone up and down. All right. But it's every single step I'm learning. And you can't trade that, because once you've learned it, now you can build on that learning. Kind of like computers, they don't go up linearly as far as power. It's exponential.
Yep.
And that's how our minds work as well. We build off of the knowledge that we have, and it expands exponentially. So it's a beautiful thing. But with that, I think we're set for today. We will be back on Monday morning. And Mike, I know you've got some stuff going on Monday as well. Are you going to be able to be live here on Monday, or are you going to be back on Wednesday?
So I will know on Sunday. We're trying to get on Sunday.
Got it. All right.
But if we don't get on, then I'll probably get bumped to Monday.
Okay. Well, however it works, I wish you luck. And for your last remaining days for now in Aruba, enjoy, my friend. And just love the sun, because when you get back here, you'll see the sun, but it's mighty cold. And
see it reflecting off the snow. Last comment is that while I've been here, there's no reason why I couldn't get up at 5 a.m, or even 4. Let's just say 5, though, to keep it simple. Spend 5-6 hours trading till 11 a.m. Head down the beach with the family and spend an entire day, every single day.
And you can live that way.
I could thrive that way. I could even probably pull back 2 hours out of that, but let's focus on learning and being immersive. So I could do a minimum of that, and then it's such a catalyst, and it's so phenomenal what we have access to. So excited to be here, excited to share, and hope you guys get what we're doing, because it's life changing.
Indeed it is. So hey, glad you're all here with us. I'll see you on Monday, no matter what. Maybe Mike will, and Stephen as well. So, but I'll be here Monday. Have a phenomenal weekend all.